Now with Rush Limbaugh's wit and wisdom, and all the things that make proactive governance. This is the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership, shining towards light everywhere we go. I had intended to play Toby Mac. At some point I just do that. The song I'm referencing here, because it's so powerful. Now, we're going to go back to something that I've been taking a break from. And just so you know, I'm not going to be analyzing the news every day that I'm on air. Tuesdays and Thursdays, between now and sometime in, I guess, like early mid-December, is going to be intro to public affairs moment. Now, in the spring, we're going to change it up a bit and make it public relations corner. And the reason I'm going to do that is offer a little public relations advice to the new Congress, which I believe, with no doubt, that it's going to have a big Republican impact. Now, shall we go ahead and get down to the stories? U.S. government sends special envoy. Okay. Not sure I want to cover that one. The Ethiopian crisis. China responsible for serious human rights violations against Uyghurs. UN report. You know, I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to be blunt. This country and the international community has been ignoring what's been going on with China in any way, even with human rights in their own country. Back in April 1996, I had to make I was taking an undergraduate course in international law. And I had to argue my thesis about what to do about the human rights issue in China. And you're thinking to me, why did you pick that idea for a paper? Because I felt like it should be an international legal issue. And I felt like the World Court needed to step in. UN needed to step in for sanctions. Of course, my professor, who was kind of playing devil's advocate about my presentation, said, "Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Hendrick, but I like my Toys R Us." And my ex-wife, who was a defender of my position in China, and she'd had that exact same professor the semester before. And she took a look. She looked at him and she said, she turned to him. She said, "You know what? Tough luck." Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Not to know. Non-denominational pastors found to hold more biblical views than pastors than other denominations. I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole because, well, I'm neither Catholic nor Protestant. This week in history. This week in Christian history. Female Reformation leader dies. Missionary expelled. Crusader born. It's not bad. Now I'm gonna make some comments about the Reformation. I really don't think it's that bad of a thing. It was a good thing. It was a good thing. Before the Reformation, rules were that no one could have a copy of the Bible except for the priests. And people like William Tyndale and Martin Luther did what they could to try to put a stop to it. Of course, William Tyndale is murdered. He's burned to the stake. Martin Luther was able to prevail. Now, am I saying that the Christian Reformation is the total answer? I'm going to leave that for you to decide. But I'm going to give you my position. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the deal is, and they really try to emphasize this since 2018, is the need for church members to feed themselves spiritually. No offense to anybody, but so many Christians, they go to church, and they expect their pastors to feed them. It's what the pastor says, it says in the Word. Well, that's kind of half and half, kind of erroneous, to tell you the truth. And you're probably thinking, well, Jimmy, why are you talking about the Reformation? Because there's a lot of history this week on the Reformation. It's brought to this world a bunch of renaissance in technology and the like. But what I like about my church is that its founder, who was still preaching Jesus Christ, when asked how the church is governed, he said this: I teach them correct principles, and they govern themselves. See, that's the deal in America. Self-government. And I'm sorry, I hate to tell you this, but we've slipped. We've turned into a dang nanny state where everybody's milling around, even conservatives saying, protect me. Bull. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not ticked off. But the one thing that I've discovered in Christianity, it's up to the disciple to feed themselves. And not necessarily leave it up to the ministers of faith to feed them. Yesterday I went to a church. We had sacrament meeting, and then we had Sunday school. And yes, I think in many ways, I got some spiritual feeding from both deals. But you know where the bulk of my spiritual feeding has come from? Myself. And, some people may say, well, that's wrong. No, it's not. Tough. For years, I depended on the ministers of faith to feed me, to spiritually take care of me. And then in 1999 to 2001, I went through a process of awakening, okay? Realizing that, hey, it's not up to the ministers of the day to necessarily feed me spiritually. Yeah, you know I was going to analyze the news. But like I said, I'm doing it in a different way. And so you're like, oh, I want the old Jimmy back. I want the old Jimmy back, tough. Because the old Jimmy was getting ticked off at how the distracted, defiant culture was. And so that's why we're here. Okay, story number 3. 5 seemingly well-intending sentences that are hurting the church. Alright, let's see what's going on. Have you ever received a backhanded compliment? Give me just a minute, I gotta pause for a minute. Okay, let me start over with the article. Have you ever received a backhanded compliment? Just beneath veneer of a compliment line, a stinging insult. It may not register at first, but then you feel the pain. Congratulations. I didn't expect you to get the job. You're so independent. It's no surprise you haven't found anyone yet. Oh, let me tell you something. I've had well-meaning followers of Christ say that. Some of these backhanded deals, I'm not gonna respond, dignify with or anything. Here's what. I wish I could be as relaxed as you about all the clutter in the house. Okay, here's one thing. The church is not the building; it's the people. I gotta be honest with you. A lot of Christianity has topped that for the past 3 decades. And we believe that that's what's part of what's causing declining attention. No, the church is not the building. The church is the people. And in many ways, yes, that's true. But the Bible says, forsake not the assembling of the brethren. Why do you think he would ask true saints to gather together often, particularly on the Lord's Day, have the Lord's Supper, and remember Him? A remark like that, yes, it is killing Christianity. It is killing Christianity. Our church is a discipleship church rather than an evangelistic church. Okay, I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole because that's, with my personal beliefs, that's kind of a yin-yang. We do believe in missionary work, But we also believe, in my church, we also believe in discipleship. And of course, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but we got a 3-legged stool. Perfecting the saints, redeeming the dead, and converting souls to the gospel. So, yes, I do believe that a lot of Christianity kind of takes away the purpose of all three of those. And you need all three of those. Jesus and I get along just fine by ourselves. Okay, that's true in a way, but I have to agree that is one of the things that is killing Christianity. The Jesus and me theological movement that has kind of hit Sarah in the 1990s. And that's why I converted back in 2001, because I realized, okay, there's nothing wrong with saying Jesus and me, we're okay and everything. But he told Peter, upon this rock, I will build my church, which is the rock of revelation. Yes, personal revelation is good, but you need collective revelation. Verse 4. It's not how many are attending. It's how many we are sending. Yes, that is a big problem in mainline Christianity today. Because some churches, they go around, well, let's get souls saved. And then make it their sole mission. And that's what attracted me to the faith I'm in, is, the threefold purpose. We need to grow in discipleship before we start a new church or a new campus. Alright, I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, because thank goodness, yes, my church is worldwide. But one thing I can be grateful for, is I believe our leadership will not take us astray. And so, well, no offense, but I think it's time to get back to the stories at hand, if we can. I mean, right? There must be some issues with the website, and what can I say? I want to get back to the news stories, but I really don't know why it's not returning back to my news feed, which I think is crazy. Okay. Had to kind of finagle, but anyway, there we go. School district pays $995K to teacher suspended for not using trans students' preferred trans name. I've talked to you guys about this several weeks ago, sometime before the suspension. Okay, listen to me. They shouldn't suspend the teacher. Okay? Teachers should be able to live by the biblical principles they seem to live by and not be censored by woke America. Okay? That's going to bring my blood to a boil. I told you in the past, when I was in college and lived it beyond, I had a friend named Brad. Okay? And I had forgotten the interchangeable names for his brother. Okay, it was naturally his brother, and I stand on that. I agree with Brad on that, God rest his soul. He passed away last year, unbeknownst to my knowledge. Okay. Brad had a brother named, we're going to call him Mabry. I'm going to try to make a mental note to remember Mabry and stick there, okay? Now, Mabry was the last person that you would ever thought would have gone trans. The times I've seen him, he was a manly man, working in the shop, getting his hands dirty, working hard. And then, out of the blue, late 2001, after not speaking for 5 months, Brad and I were trying to reconcile. And they showed me some photos they had of Brad's brother in preparation to turn trans. Okay, and now Mabry was going to be changing his name to Beatrice. Help me remember this. Next time there's a dang trans story. Mabry to Beatrice. And Brad didn't like this at all and changing to Beatrice. And a lot of my circle of friends back in the day, Jim Bob, Julie, we just all felt like it was crazy and stupid for him to do that. And then, some point during the late spring, early summer, Brad's mom sent for and paid for him to have a little deed, the sex change operation. And Jim Bob, I don't know what was it, the psychology brain of his was trying to figure out in his mind where they were going to send him. Based on a popular movie. And we were shocked. He had gone to Thailand to have the operation. And he came out a woman. Which, I'm sorry, I would never call Mabry Beatrice, okay? But for the longest time, Mabry, quote-unquote, Beatrice, lived next door to Brad. He was begging Brad to accept it as it was, and Brad couldn't. Nyack College changes its name after 50 years. Okay, anything having to do with colleges and universities piques my interest. Nyack College, a 140-year-old New York based Christian academic institution. It's changed its name to Alliance University. In a video posted to Facebook on Thursday, Alliance University President Ralph S. Matthews and others briefly discussed the new name. Matthews said that while the seasons and name may change, the college's core remains the same. In comments emailed to the Christian Post on Friday, Matthews said the school leaders started discussing a name change about a year ago because they wanted a name that represented strength, partnership, and a promise that we are better together. That doesn't sound like too bad of a deal. A logo mark the conjoiner ALL represents unified strength and definition. Two letters merge to create something better than they were before. A new alliance full of possibilities, Matthews says. The name change has been recognized by the New York State Department of Education and also the Middle States Commission of Education. Our signage has begun transitioning to the new name and brand. Our website is not yet live. The name change reflects the academic institution being granted the status of a university by the NYSDOE. Nyack was the name of our previous location, a small village in Rockland County, New York. Now that we are in Manhattan, we needed a new name. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I really don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, we conservatives cannot be afraid of change, some changes, okay? Now, if it was something that was wokeism, I would have picked it up. Alright, so that covers it enough for the day. Hope you enjoy listening to James A. Hendrick School of Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the James A. Hendrick School of Leadership family. This is Jimmy Hendrick saying until next time, take care, be proactively informed. Please note that tomorrow is Public Affairs Day. So we're going to be covering fairness, okay? We're going to be covering fairness, so get ready for my unique take. No news analyzation tomorrow. But it's something I see that needs to be covered. Take care, y'all. Be proactively informed.